Hey, what's going on? This is Rad, your host for SOFREP Radio. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I have a very cool guest, an author, someone who we're going to talk to and get some insight about his book. But first, I got to talk about the merch store. It's sofrep.com/merch. You go there, check out the merch stuff. You guys are tagging us all over the internet. I keep saying it on each show, but it's true. It's flattering and it keeps the fireplace going right there. Okay. So thank you for buying the merch stuff. Then we have our bookstore, which is sofrep.com/book-club. That's all in my head. I'm remembering all of this. It's book-club. Go check out sofrep.com/book-club and read a book. Just read a book. The guys from the special operations community have curated this collection to think you would like it. So hopefully our next guest, who I'm going to introduce right now, is Sean Hagerty, former Sergeant Major, will be one of those next books. Now, Sean, let me go over your introduction before we start talking.
Okay.
Sean Hagerty is a retired special operations soldier with over 25 years of experience. He spent his younger years training and conducting combat operations with the 1st of the 75th Ranger Regiment. After 9 years in 2005, he was selected for and assigned to a special operations unit at Fort Belvoir, Virginia. There, he spent 16 years and finished his military career, retiring as a Sergeant Major. He received several awards and decorations throughout his career, to include 3 Bronze Stars. Sean holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan and a master's degree from American Public University. He currently works as a senior advisor for the Department of Defense Science Board in the Pentagon. Now, his wife, Misty, is an executive officer at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. Oldest daughter, Samantha, is an administrative staffer for the House of Representatives of Washington, D.C. And the youngest daughter, Delaney, is a criminal justice major at James Madison U, set to graduate, probably just graduated this May of 2024. So congratulations. What's up, class of 2024? Mm-hmm. His love for writing began in the cold mountains of Afghanistan, the dusty deserts of Iraq, and the plains of Africa. He would write short stories for his daughters so they knew he was thinking of them. And today we have Sean on the show to talk about these stories and how it's impacting him, his family, and what he's doing today. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Thanks. Glad to be here. Really appreciate you making the time.
You know, thanks for wanting to be on the show. We love that. That's the biggest important factor, is someone that wants to be on the show, talk about where they've come from, what they're doing today. And you're no different. You're just a normal dude that bleeds red blood. And you're like, what am I going to do with myself? And at a young age, you decided to join the military, right?
Yep. I joined the military right after I graduated college. So 1996 is when I entered service. That's why I went to base training.
No kidding.
Yep.
In 96.
That took me to 97 of April when I finally got to 1st Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment.
Wow, 1st Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment. And is that the one that Colonel Nightingale helped to create? Mm-hmm. I just had him on the show the other day. He actually writes for SOFREP.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I think I saw something on that. I was doing some research earlier. Very cool.
Yeah, and I know that he's like he's older cat today. He's in his 80s, but, you know, one of the first leaders of the 1st of the 75th, you know, right there. Holy cow. Yeah. And then here you are, you know, coming in. How did you enjoy that? How did you enjoy the 1st of the 75th, what he created? Did you wear the mop tops?
Mop tops? No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I when I came in, we still had the black berets. So I wore the black beret. No, I loved it. My time in regiment, 9 years went by fast, but best time in the military. I mean, I still.
Do you know about the mop tops?
No, I'm not familiar with the mop tops.
So Colonel Nightingale said that he wanted something different. Oh, you know, maybe that was with another unit. He took the strands of like material that you put on your helmet and make it look like an upside down mop, you know, and they made a unit within themselves to be the mop tops so that they would be different.
If it was there, it was before me. I didn't wear my stuff. We just wore the berets.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. So we had the black Ranger beret. Yeah. And then what did you think about it when it went to tan? What did you think about that?
Not very happy. Not really pleased at all. But they did it in a cool way. If I remember my history correctly here, there was 2 different choices. Rangers actually reached out to units that wore those, and the tan was based off the British. So I asked them, and they said, hey, we've got to switch. We like to go tan. You know, we don't want to take anything away from you. And they said they'd be honored if we wore it as well. So that was my memory serving me correctly. That's when all that went down. So we switched to the tan.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, as a lot of you know, my father was a Green Beret, and that's also British, you know, and that was also donned to them with, you know, their approval back in the 60s or 50s when JFK's like, we need to separate you guys somehow.
Yep.
That's awesome. And so going through Ranger, you have to be airborne qualified to be a Ranger?
Yeah. Yeah. I had to go to airborne school before I got to what was called back then. I'm not sure what it's called now. It was called RIP, Ranger Indoctrination Program. So you go basic training. You don't have to go this route, but I went basic training, airborne school, RIP, and then sent to 1st Battalion.
All right. It's been a few days since you went through RIP, but what would be one piece of advice you'd give someone listening who's thinking about going into it?
Again, I don't know how it's changed, but I know I've been asked this question before, but there's some of the other Ranger communities or people's children going into services. And it's like, hey, don't quit. And have confidence in yourself. You were brought to the selection for a reason. So they saw something. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the strongest. You don't have to be the smartest, right? We can't be experts in everything. Just be good at everything. Have confidence in yourself and don't quit. You'll make it through.
Okay, here we go. Just don't quit. Just don't quit. Just don't
Are you
quit.
signing up? Are you getting ready to go?
I think I passed the age requisite there. 46. They're like, yeah, you're old now. When I went in, I was grandpa and I was 20, 21. And
Wow.
there was kids that were 17. And I was like,
Yeah,
how did you know?
I was 23. And I had squad leaders yelling at me, and I'm like, well, you can yell at me all you want, but I'm going to go home and buy alcohol where you can't.
Yeah, really. It's like, how did you know at 17 to be so driven to join the military right away? Like, whew, right off that, like there they are, 17 years old, going to go fight, can't even buy alcohol, can't even buy smokes, but then go pack a M4.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they did. I know. But I mean, hey, and thank you to those of you that raise your hand and go and take the steps to try to get there and become all you can be, in all of the branches. I'm just saying, hey, if you're thinking about joining, just give it a shot. You just don't know until you do it. And then you'll fill that void in your life because maybe you didn't go all the way, or maybe you go all the way, or who knows, but at least you gave it a shot.
Exactly.
Okay. Don't start your life out with a waiver. Come on. Come on. Now, here you are. You've gone through Ranger. You're probably still young. Probably E4, E5, huh? Is that what you're thinking? Around a sergeant?
Yeah. So I got all the way up to sergeant. I'm just getting promoted to sergeant first class when I left. I was promoted. So I actually left Ranger Regiment right at the end of December 05 and got up to Fort Belvoir in January 06, and I pinned E7 that month.
Oh, yeah, right. And then what was the next step from E7? Now that no one can take away your rank except Congress, because that's
now it's just stay out of trouble and go give them a reason to take it away. That's what's the next step. Make sure I don't give them due course to remove me. So
exactly.
yeah, that's funny.
So you stayed airborne, and did you stay airborne qualified?
Yeah, I actually then went to free fall. So that was a lot of fun. A lot better on the knees, a lot better on the back. It's funny you say that because I hadn't jumped static line since 2007. And then about a month and a half ago, I went to a Charlie Company 175 reunion down in Florida. And we jumped out of planes into the lakes down there. And I did static line that I hadn't done in quite a long time. It was a learning curve of remembering how to do this again. So it was kind of funny. I jumped with my original team leader that was back from 97. So that was just kind of cool to get to do all these old guys going out the plane. It was pretty wild.
You're cool, dude. You're cool, bro. Okay. You're cool, man. I know. I see it. I see my own dad.
My wife just goes, why do you keep doing dumb shit?
It's not dumb. It's not dumb. No, we look up to that. Okay. I just want you to know. Okay. And so anybody that's, in their younger days, they're listening to you right now, bro. That's right.
Yeah. But if they were there and they saw the alligators all around the lake, they would have been like, you guys are idiots.
That's funny. That's what it is. There is. You're jumping into swamps.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Now, when you go, we mentioned in your brief, resume and your background bio that you have a family and a support system there that has been there. Your wife's been there the whole time with you, pushing you through all of the Army career, being just as hard herself. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the family's been very, very supportive. Obviously now it's nice to see my daughter's grown. They're graduating college, and thanks to the military, debt free because they got my GI Bill and some of my stuff for disability. So they were able to, me beating myself up in my Ranger years afforded them an education later and not have to start off this world in heavy debt. So I'm grateful for that.
Nice investment, sir. Nice investment.
Yeah.
Nice investment. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, good job. It's worth it. That's all worth it for you. You're like, all right, fine.
Well, it's funny. I actually went to for Father's Day, we went to the DC gun show, and I brought both my girls, and everybody at the gun show was laughing because I bought them each a pistol because they're both over 21. I'm like, okay, this was my credence. I gave you an education and left you in no debt. I gave you a used car. I gave you a rifle. I gave you a shotgun. I gave you a handgun, and you know how to use each. Fly. It's fly. We've given you the tools. Awesome. So everyone's sitting there going, it's Father's Day and you're buying your kids weapons. I'm like, yes, I'm completing my last fatherly duty. They now have protection in their apartment for a pistol and they're good.
Right. And I have two daughters and a son. So, they're all in the 18 and 16 range. And man, I feel like, college is so real, right? It is so real. And what you just said is something that, if you have a disability through the VA or rated out, or do you have a rating? Is that what it is? Medical?
Yeah. So the state of Virginia helps as well.
Oh, see, so you can look into that. So if you're a veteran out there and you are rated and you have children, you should talk to your VA advocate and ask them about education.
100%. I tell everybody, well, just go to the VA, go to especially your state, because different states have different programs. Virginia, if you're 90% or above, they will give your kids college tuition, I believe, for 8 semesters of any in-state tuition. So your whatever public school in your state, they will pay that, and then the feds will match it in a program. I think it's called 35, and they'll pay your kids room and board in the state you're at. So
my dad was
every state's got
100.
a program. Every state's got a program.
Yeah, he was 100 rated, and they offered it to me, and I was taking free school. I don't know why I wound up joining the military. Probably a decision I made, but I could have kept going to school till I was 26, as long as I was living at home.
And actually, Virginia just extended it to 28, I believe.
That's legit.
Yeah, so, my daughter keeps me apprised of the information because I do a lot with the VFW, American Legion a lot. So I'll be talking to guys, and they'll be, asking, one, how'd you use the GI Bill? Post 9/11 GI Bill for your kids' college. It was rocky at first when that first rolled out, but it's smooth as hell now. So I usually advise people on how I did it with my daughters, and then the other ones to apply for.
VFW is free also. So if you have a VFW, you can hit them up and they'll help you for sure. There's no one asking you for extra money to get these benefits.
And if it's a small VFW and they don't have service reps, they'll send you to someone. I mean, they'll send you to them. American Legion, and there's one other one I forgot off the top of my head. I'll remember later. They'll help you with claims. They'll help you with doing all that stuff, advising. Yeah, it's all that or any military installation. You just go to the community center. They'll direct you. Exactly. There's usually a VA person sitting in each center.
Yep, right there, waiting for you to walk in.
Yep.
Hey, now we've talked about kind of post-military, but you still you went through Ranger and then you went to Virginia, which is what combat tour did you go to? Where was that at when you went to?
I've been all over. I've been to Afghanistan. I was there at Iraq for the original invasion. And then I've spent a lot of time in the African continent, all over the world, really. I've gotten many trips courtesy of the U.S. government to various
9/11
places.
Then? What were you at 9/11? What were you
I was at Fort Benning. I was at what was called at the time, it's probably changed, it was called BNOC. It was for me to become an E6, to get pinned staff sergeant. So we were actually there, in the classroom, didn't see the first plane hit, but then they brought the TD in for the second, and then they had us go over because 3rd Ranger Battalion compound is there. They had the instructors were like, all right, everybody, cut in class, all Rangers head over there because they didn't know if we were going to blow out right away because normally we would be the ones. And 375 did. But we stayed. Our guys said stay in school, finish up, and when you come back, you get ready to rotate. So I did go to September 2002 is when I first went over there. The only time I went to Afghanistan.
Yeah, like 9-10 months, about a year after the whole incident.
Yeah.
But that's pretty fresh, man. That's really fresh.
It was still, we were still occupying these strange little bases up in the mountains. I mean, I was in Bagram for a little bit as QRF, and then I was up in the mountain, old Russian base. Russians picked the worst spots for bases, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, let's take these over and put our guys in here." I'm like, why are we in here? This is terrible.
Right. It didn't really work for them.
No, you could see bullet holes in the walls outside where they were asked to depart. I was like, ugh. So crazy.
So in those hills, in those crazy looking bullet holes, those old bunkers, you're sitting there thinking about home a little bit, right? And what are you doing? Are you thinking about your family at this point?
Oh, I am. And that's actually where since we don't have comms, don't have computers, that's where I started like doing a lot of like just writing when I was free, my free time, because we did have mail service, so we could mail stuff home. So I'd write them letters, I'd write them short stories or anything, just to, because obviously it's still in the news with everybody, but that was, like you said, that was fresh. I mean, so they're doing news reports constantly. Back home, soldiers died here, soldiers died there, right? Because no one really knew. We didn't really know. There wasn't a lot of press allowed in Afghanistan. They kind of,
but yet there's a lot of press that wants to get into Afghanistan to like show it all, Unlike Vietnam, it's like 2 weeks later, you get this ambush went wrong, 12 soldiers died. And then you get another piece of mail that comes in and the wire and it gets made into a paper. Here, it's like, now you have people getting embedded 100%. Yeah. They're going through like combat training FTXs with elements to learn how to hold their camera in a combat situation as media.
Yeah. Thankfully, they weren't allowed to come with us in Afghanistan. And then at least for the Ranger Regiment, they never were allowed to come with us in Iraq. So at least we didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah. That's hot. That's hot. You guys are going in, man.
Yeah, we did not really need extra people around that we have to worry about protecting. It's like
your own shadow, bro. It's like my own shadow. Okay, all right. And Billy and Bobby. All right. Okay, all right. Man, dude, holy cow. Okay, and then you've been all over the world, and so your book. So you get out of the military.
Yep.
And how old are you at that point?
I'm 50 right now. So I've been out at 48. I tapped out, so just about 51. So then I went to work for the Army for a little bit, kind of chill out I still needed to work. So I went over there as a policy analyst to have a better work-life balance, but it turned into just the most boring job in the world. It was killing my soul every day just to go in there. Great people, important mission, but just not me. And then a friend asked about this place, Defense Science Board, if I wanted to come on board. And I'm like, all right, great. A little bit more interesting, a little bit more, kind of things moving operations and hearing, some cool stuff rather than just writing on a computer, Army policy of polish your boots or whatever.
That doesn't even happen anymore. Unless it's
I know. Well, and I used to tell them, they're like, soldiers need these. And I'm like, listen, I'm a retired sergeant major. If you don't give me 2 to 3 pages, 75, 80 pages, I ain't reading this. No one's reading this. We're going to maybe look to the one chapter where something pertains to us. Stop writing these books. Just write clear, simple sentences and go. The soldiers don't care about the history of this regulation. I'm like, come on, guys. So
I see Sam. Sam sees his boots. Boots are shined.
Yeah. End of story.
End of story, man. Little circle motions. Maybe show him with a little circle drawing.
There you go. Perfect. Drawings are perfect.
Yes, exactly. And then your Jones Point, which is the book that you have written that we're talking about. Jones Point. It's out right now, correct? We can go and find it.
Oh yeah. So I originally self-published in November. Of 23, and then right into the new year, Blue Handle Publishing, we had been talking negotiations, picked me up. So they kind of retweaked it a little bit, the cover, and they relaunched it in April. So yeah, it's available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Bookshop, the like.
Well, congratulations on,
thanks.
Just keep putting your foot forward.
Yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm working on number 2. It's about halfway done. I did some editing this morning, and I got to do some final touch up this weekend and kind of see where I'm at for number 2 and see what our kind of time frame is.
I had a former Green Beret on who edits and writes and ghost writes for authors and whatnot. He was just he's going to be coming up soon on a podcast, but he said the best thing to do as someone who wants to write is to write it out. And in any way you can get your story written out, because it does no good just sitting inside of here.
Of course.
So would you also think that would be a good way for anybody that's aspiring to write? Because there is a lot of those that listen that have hit me up like, hey, Rad, do you have any publishing connections? I'm a writer. How do I transition? Is that something you would also say is just get it out off your chest, write it out?
Yeah, get I mean, everyone's going to have their own methods for writing, right? So, I mean, I've got ideas right now I was writing on the train this morning a little bit, and I'm kind of anxious to finish work so I can get back to it because I have some ideas I got in. But what I tell everybody is how I did it. My method was I framed the entire book. Now, it doesn't mean the book went that way. I think the first book was 30 chapters, and I had 30 notebook cards of what I wanted to write about in each of those chapters. Now, again, as anything, right? Everything changes as you go along. I went a little different direction here. I added a character here. I changed the character here. But as long as you have an overall kind of make a plan, make a goal, that's what I kind of say to everybody is, and yeah, whatever the advice the guy gave about editing is, I tell myself the same thing. I just start writing. I don't worry about the spelling. I don't worry about if the tense was correct. What I tend to do is I write a chapter, I get it in the computer, I get it looking good, and I go on. Once I get 10, I go all the way back through and I kind of do what I call content edit. Did the whole story flow for those 10 chapters? And I'm using Jones Point as an example. The next book's a little longer. Then I went through and I did a technical. Hey, is all my tenses correct? There's different programs like Word will catch a misspelling, but like if you put it in like a Gmail, it'll catch different types. It's like there's different programs for spelling and stuff. So some catch more than others. And then I go, okay. Then I usually share it with family and friends and go, okay, it makes sense to me. Did it make sense to you? Mm-hmm. So that really helped me because, I've got it's not a military book. I always put that out front. It's a psychological thriller. It's fiction, but it's military informed. So my character, I use a lot of military stuff in it. I want to make sure I've explained it, that I have not used too many acronyms or too many situations where I just assume the reader knew because I knew, right? So then I give it to non-military. I give one of my buddies, he's a rancher. He works in the oil industry and he's got cows. So I sent it to him. Yeah. So he's like, he's not no military connection. So if it makes sense. So, hey, you need a little bit more here, buddy. I didn't understand what you were talking about. So that's at least my process.
And we're talking about the character is Dane Cooper. He is your special operations background character in the book who's finding himself in all sorts of perilous situations where he has to go. Well, he's being hunted by, teams that are wanting to stop him from going after what he's going after, which is his daughter and the people that have taken, I don't want to continue to spoil the story, but fill me in, please, a little bit. Tell us about Dane and where he comes from.
Yeah, that's what I tried to kind of capture in this book was, obviously, like I said, military informed. So there's only really a little bit with the military. That's when she's kidnapped. That's in the back cover of the book. It's I tried to capture. My wife keeps joking. She's like, "Are you Dane Cooper?" I'm like, "Okay, first of all, I'm 50 and I've got I already had a knee replacement. I go, I ain't running around that much."
That means yes.
But I tried to look at it and from that perspective of how would I react? How would I feel? What would I do? To what lengths would I go to? What any father would go to. So you try to capture some of his angst of then trying to fill that void, always on the lookout for his daughter, but helping others find their kids or just other people that have done wrong by children, punishing them. That's what they say in one of the lines in the book is, what happens if, you find them and the child is has been killed. It's like, then we punish, so that's kind of what I wanted to really capture in that character is kind of that grieving parent, what lengths they'll go to.
Yeah, and that fact that he has those skill sets just establishes that right off the front, so that know that.
And I try to remind people that the club that they talk about, not everybody's like him, right? Like you need logisticians. There's a lawyer. There's cops. There's people who do intel analysis, right? It's everybody bringing their skill sets together, and then Dane he just happens to be brought on for his skill set, but there's many others, and I try to show that throughout this book, and you'll see it more in the second book. It kind of develops more of those kind of supporting characters and what their contributions are, right? He goes on a hit. Someone's got to get that. Someone's got to get that pistol. Someone's got to get that car. Someone's got to falsify records of where he's located so he can't ever be incriminated. Things like that. You got to kind of really think through, and you need a team. I always joke with everybody. They're like, "Is it like the movie Taken?" And I'm like, first of all, no. Great movie.
Right, yeah.
Great movie. But I go, what was the opening scene? He was at a barbecue with like 10 CIA buddies, and his daughter's taken. I don't know why there wasn't 11 plane tickets and why they're all not just all right. That's what I would do. I'd grab I'd grab every door kicker I could find. Let's go.
So hot on the trail.
Yeah,
he did get there. It's just a different perspective. It's just a different way, like they captured those angst of that father.
Yeah, no, that's true. But that's what I kind of try to bring out, and that's some of the military background I think I bring to this is even when, especially in the special operations community, a lot of glory goes to the guys right at the tip of the spear, the guys at the other end of the barrel. But you don't realize to get to that took maybe 15, 20, 30 people. Right? Someone had to send food. Someone had to send bullets. Someone had to arrange transportation. Someone had to fix the weapons. Someone had to make sure all the medical was done. People don't realize that sometimes. And sometimes we don't either. I've met a lot of guys. Sometimes they get a little selfish. And you don't realize how many people are supporting you to do the ultimate mission. It's not just you. It is a team behind you. That's why I try to capture that theme in this book. There's stuff he doesn't know and he can't do, but others can to help him.
You know, I love that actually, because it kind of crosses over into what we do all the time. You know, there's people all around us that we don't recognize are in our corner and helping us get the mission done that we do on a daily basis. You know, whether that's a loved wife or a kid or, you know, your pet getting on your podcast, whatever it is, they're there to support you in your mission. And you just got to appreciate that. And I love that you're going to incorporate, you know, the team aspect as well as, you know, Dane Cooper. I'm just going to keep saying the character's name, you know, Dane Cooper. No,
Dane gets out there and does some stuff alone, but
it's a good name.
Thank you. Took a while. It was blank for a long time writing the book as people always kept suggesting names to me here and there. And I know my dad, he wanted Shane. I'm like, Dad, no, that doesn't fit. This doesn't fit here. So no, it worked out.
Dane it is, Dad. Dane it is.
Yeah. This is my book, Dad. Go write your own.
Yeah, exactly. Typewriters out. Tick, 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 ting. Tick, 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 tick. If anybody knows what a typewriter is, go ahead and comment down below. I'll be curious. But nonetheless.
Well, actually, I went even more old school. I wrote it on yellow legal pads. I wrote the whole book, hand wrote it, and then typed it on the computer.
That's a bigger version of this.
Yes, basically. I wrote the whole thing, and then I typed it in. The second book, my wife got tired of watching me put my thing on a stand and type in the computer, and she bought me one of those Remarkables. And I use that and just zap it in the computer. But yeah, the whole thing. I got a whole stack of them in my den now from the original book.
Oh, bro, dude, I had to put the Franklin Day Planner away. You know what I mean? I sit there and I'll be on a call and I'll take a call and I'll be like, let me write that down real quick. And I'm like, you know what? Hold on 1 second. Let me just type that into my phone. There's such this old school still. Let me write it out. And
when I write something, I usually just really it helps me remember. I don't know. I've always been that way, so I always write things out.
Oh yeah.
It's my method.
All the same way. This pencil is not just a prop.
Yeah.
I write stuff on here. You see what I'm saying?
I'm not in my office, so I don't have all my pencils around. I'm at a different facility, but yeah.
But you got this tie on. What's going on with this tie?
Because it's my University of Michigan tie. Because
that is, huh?
Some of these events, they are higher level. There's days I can get away with a collared shirt and jeans. There's days where you got to suit up. So today was a suit up day.
I need to write that down. There is a day for a tie rad.
Now, there's some days I get to telework and I'll be sitting in my pajamas at home and enjoying life too. So
yes.
Normally it's suit and tie when you're coming up to the Pentagon.
I do. Oh yeah. I guess if I do go to the Pentagon, I'll have to wear a suit and or tie.
Nah, you'll be fine.
You think I can just roll in like, hey, how's it going? Everyone's like,
you actually can roll in. You can roll in just like that. As long as you're on
be like, rad.
Yeah.
You're just you, aren't you? And I'm like, I am. Yep. All you sirs. And ma'ams. And dudes.
It's
airborne guy. That would be awesome, dude. That's awesome. Kevin Costner filmed a movie about the Pentagon, where he was like that soldier and he was like crawling through the shafts of it all.
Oh, yeah. I forgot the name. That was a good movie.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, he was the spy, right? He was the Russian spy.
Yeah, he was. Like he was, but you didn't think he was. But he was.
Yeah. No Way Out. No Way Out.
That's right. Yeah, it was No Way Out. That's right.
It's amazing the things I forget in life, yet I remember like movies. I remember like a song lyric for absolutely no reason, but I can't remember the password to one of my accounts. I'm like, really?
Bro.
What your brain stored.
Or 2 exclamation points. You're like, what is it? What is it? Now, joking aside, and you're cool, by the way. I just want to let you know, like, you're a cool dude.
Well, thank you.
Your second book that you're working on, is it going to piggyback off of Dane Cooper?
Yep, it's going to keep going. Yep,
it is, huh?
Yes, it's. I keep telling all my friends, keep asking me, when's the next one? And I was like, I'm working on it. First, I got a day job. Number 2, I told them I actually like this book even more because it gave me more freedom. Because the first book, I love it, but I had to do a lot of obviously setup. Get the story going. Right? You need background. You still get background in the second book, but the second book starts going a little bit faster. Mm-hmm. And it's just a lot of fun to write.
Sounds like it's going to be a possible series, or
it could be. It could be. My wife and I were talking about that same thing too, and we had said is I'll write about this character as long as people want to read it. I also, though, never want to get to a point where people look and go, "Oh God, another Dane Cooper book. It's the same old crap." You know what I mean? I don't want to be that kind of author. Because again, I'd love to do this as a livelihood.
The only way you'll be that kind of author is if you continue to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, and you're like, I'll just be that author, well, we'll never know. So if Dane Cooper should be consistently, it's another, why can't I get rid of Dane? Because he just doesn't want to go away, bro.
Maybe not. We'll see how far I can go. But
maybe
it's been fun either way.
Oh, wow. There's some other other books like kind of this book and these characters that are out there. Mm-hmm. I would love to see some authors cross the characters.
Yeah, I've actually, I think there was one that did. I can't remember. But I'm hearing, as a reader of a lot of those, I was the same way. I was always saying it'd be kind of cool. You see some of those characters, those Mitraps or those.
Right. What if you're in Paris at the same time the other character's in Paris and you guys cross paths and the guy that he remembers and recollects is the guy from your book doing whatever he's doing through his mission, and then he's trying to, it would just be really cool to cross over and have that.
That'd be interesting. I'll keep that in the back of my mind. If I get famous one day and those guys will talk to me, I'll see if they want to do a crossover.
Oh yeah. No, this show right here is
going to totally tell you it was your idea.
It's going to happen. This show's going to do it right here. You know what I mean? Like Chief Finn from Steel Fear and Cold Fear can be in the same country at the same time as Dane Cooper, and at the pharmacy at the same time. There's a fight, and then they cross. I don't know.
It'd be pretty funny.
It would, and it would make good for good TV too if it ever became a series and have all these cross-platform things. Let's go, let's do it. Someone just sign us up right now.
Yeah. Come on. My email's open. I'm waiting to hear.
Sean's ready to go. He'll write about this character till he can't anymore. That's what's up. I like it. I think that it should happen. And then what are you just going to focus on writing in your daytime job working for the DOD, who had to approve your book, by the way, right?
Yeah. I'll have to approve the second one as well, which I wasn't concerned. I didn't. The stuff that's in there is realistic, but even anything like tactics or techniques or technology, I made it at least 15 years old because there's still people out there in the battlefield. There's still people out there doing that. Again, too, I've been out for 3 years, so I probably don't know any of the good stuff anymore, but I wanted to just make sure. So I know some people will read it, real technically like, oh my God, he's talking about this technology. That's so yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I did it on purpose because I don't want to give away current technology and things that are being used out there. Right. So I don't want to do that. So yeah, that this one will have to go through too. Also because I hold a clearance here in the Pentagon that we're supposed to. It's not really a written rule that I have to, but it's just good practice. So nothing coming back on you later.
I would agree. You're like, hey, you know what? I wrote this book and I want to publish it. And what do you think?
The problem is the process can take, I was lucky. Mine only took 4 months. I had another guy, he said it took almost a year. And his was a fiction book as well. And it was nothing. He wasn't revealing anything. He said it took a year. Now maybe it was easier for me. Maybe I was just more persistent, hitting them up. But yeah, that can really slow down an author and a publisher if you're finishing and then you have to wait an entire another year.
They can seize your whole funds. Dude.
Yeah.
I've seen it to another friend of mine that wrote a book and he put it out there and it did really well. And they were like, you didn't clear it. And they read it and they said, you didn't clear it. And this should have been cleared. And they kept all of his millions of dollars.
Damn.
Millions. Damn. Not a dime.
I'll make sure I keep sending it through.
Sir. Yes. Sergeant Major. Yes. Sean, I would say so. You are doing it right? Yeah. Holy cow. But he did not. Oops. But he's still a good dude. I just want to say that. And if he listens to this, he knows who he is. Oh my goodness. So once we get this up on SOFREP,
okay,
we can find your book. Is it at Barnes and Noble? Is it just on Amazon? Is the publishing company putting it out there? Can we eventually see it at the airport?
Yeah. So right now, it is available online. I know of at least 2 Barnes and Nobles, I think, that are in my area that already picked it up. We're actually going to go check it out this weekend. If I find it on the shelves, get some pictures with it. So I think it's one of those, as it starts to gain momentum, I'm hoping. I've got 2 Barnes and Noble book signings coming up again in my area.
So cool.
And then I think a couple little independent ones as well, bookstores. So basically, I'm at the point here is as long as I can still keep my 9 to 5 here and not get fired, I'll never say no. Any interviews or any show. I just did a vets event this weekend. We did a Rockin' for the Vets.
Love it.
We raised money. We had a battle of the bands. I think you would have loved it. And then
I would have loved it.
We just donated books and sold them, and then donated all the money back for canines. I think it was Semper Canine back for dogs for Marines in need. So any event, I'm trying to get out there and just get word out and interact with people and tell them about the book.
And you're a cool dude. I'm not even going to lie. I interview a lot of people, and straight up, right away, I'm just like, whatever you want.
Well, thanks.
I think it's good to make you laugh. I think you got a good smile, and I appreciate your heart and your selflessness to our country and to the nation. And if no one's ever told you that, I want to tell you that. And so, I know that you're busy and you're at the Pentagon, and I don't want to keep you long. So I think fine. Okay, cool. And I just want to say that it's just been, really cool just to get to know you and to hear your story from, a young man in the military, and now you're writing a book. When you were young, were you writing books? And
I actually did. I did some writing as a kid, and I've tried to find it the other day. My mom brought me something like 6 months ago when I was getting ready to get republished. She found like a book, like a third grade project that I had written a book, and that they had got like a company to put a little plastic cover over it and make it like into a real book, and little stick figures and crap, and very simple words, but it was kind of funny to see. But no, I didn't think I'd go into writing necessarily, but it's just one of those things where I just started doing it and enjoyed it, and was like, wow, wonder if I can make a living at this. So
yeah, Mark, you're doing it. And I mean, I get it. You have a day job, and once this other job steps up, you may have to walk off the plank and take the deep plunge into the sea of being an author and just owning that space. And, I had to do that. I was working a day job, and it was security. I had a paycheck every 2 weeks, benefits. And then I was like, well, my business that I've been doing on the side has been rising higher, and I have to step off of this security blanket here that has been taking care of me, and still could. Stock options, the whole 9 yards. But now I just run my airsoft war games and do this. That's it. I got a couple stores.
That's great. Yeah, that's the same thing I'm kind of doing right now. I'm able to do it. I mean, right now, like I said, you probably read in that bio. I mean, I have a 45-minute bus or metro ride in.
Yeah,
I'm not driving. I'm writing. I got a 45-minute bus metro home. I'm writing. Evenings, I can do some editing. I can do interviews. I can do anything else. Weekends, I do events, and then even like this, my boss is very supportive. So if I got to step out for an hour, I blocked off 12:30 to 1:30 here on the East Coast. No problems. Absolutely no problems.
Yeah, it's like, and even, hey, I'm just doing this on my lunchtime. I'm not even bothering nobody. I just, I'm doing this thing. Hey. I'm just getting me done.
Yeah, exactly.
Get you done. Take your lunch break.
It's working now. But if it does take over, if it got bigger, I would definitely have to step away from this and I would concentrate full time on that. But for right now, I got to keep the mortgage payments going.
100%. And living in Virginia, I heard Virginia is for lovers.
Yes, Virginia is also extremely expensive and crowded.
Yes, it is. Virginia. So you go from Virginia to DC. Is that where the Pentagon?
Yeah. So I'm in Northern Virginia, and shoot up. DC's 15, 20 miles away. It's not far.
How far is Virginia Beach from where you're at?
So it's about 2.5 hours south and east.
Okay, I've been there.
Yeah, you got to go down to almost Richmond and then head towards the coast.
Like the Atlantic Fleet was over there. I was down there for something during that time.
Cool.
That's interesting. Yeah, and then I was up at the VIR with SOFREP, which is the Virginia International Raceway.
Oh,
and,
cool.
There's a couple.
I've been there.
Yeah, there's some Green Berets that live out there, and they got a hooch, and it's all set up with a firing range, and they just wake up and do trainings with folks. And we got a whole bunch of people to go out with SOFREP, and they got trained by an SAS friend of ours and a couple sniper instructors from the SEAL teams, like Brandon Webb and some of his friends, Eric Davis. And Virginia. And every time we would go through this road, I think I stayed in Danville, and we'd always go through like Virginia's for lovers, and then all of a sudden North Carolina, and then Virginia's for lovers, and then North Carolina. And I would just look at my buddy in the back seat, Big Phil, and he's about 6'3", and I'm about 6'5", and I just kept looking at him. I'm like, I guess it's for lovers, bro. It's just for lovers.
That's funny.
So that's my behind the joke of Virginia is for lovers.
Yeah, they used to actually. I don't know if they do it anymore. VAR. There used to be a driving course out there.
It's way still, back. we did the blindfold. So like pretend that your eyes got obliterated and you couldn't see, and someone was driving, or the dude in the passenger seat was driving, and then you had to stay on the gas pedal, and it was in a car, and I was filming the whole thing, and these guys are all around, and I'm like, what? Content. Give me some content. This guy can't see. He's trying to drive. Give me some content.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, man. Yeah. And then it didn't film. And he's like, did you get that? I was like, yeah, next. Good thing there was like 30 of us doing it, and they all had turns to go through this driving course and this kind of like, tactical seminar. People who had never joined or maybe had joined just wanted to like kind of exploit their senses on this type of shooting, driving, and 3-day course. It was what it was. Pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think that you're pretty cool. And I think that your book, Jones Point, should just take off and fly off the shelves, and people should go get it, and they should read it and leave you a review wherever they bought it from, or on Amazon. If you're selling it on Amazon, leave a review for the author. It really goes a long way. I just want to voice that out there. And Dane Cooper, cool name. Cool character. Yeah, you're welcome. And, I noticed that I braided my beard before we got on, and I see that it's like gray and red now, and I'm seeing like a rattlesnake's tail happening. Oh, wow. That's life, bro.
Yeah. We all age. Can't stop it.
No, we can't. And with that said, go outside, get some exercise, go enjoy the weather, go soak yourself in a lake somewhere and have some nature surround you. If you're going to the VA, ask your people for recreational therapy before they start giving you pills. Say, is there anything recreational that I can go do, like maybe, skiing or rock climbing or riding a bike or, rowing a boat, playing catches, baseball, something like that with somebody, that's recreational therapy. I just want to put that out there. And also make sure that you're checking out, these VFWs. They help you with finding benefits. If you're a member out there that has a rating and you're not sure what you're supposed to do with that rating, just look into the VFW. They do a free help and assessment, and no one's charging you fees to get you your benefits so that you get your benefits, because everybody goes in at the same time at the VA. Once you submit, you're in. And again, I just want to thank former Sergeant Major Sean Hagerty, his tenure in the military in the 1st and 75th, 25 years, waking up every morning, get ready to do PT. Thank you for doing that.
Oh.
And
that was rough.
Now I'm thinking about you as Sergeant Major from when we were soldiers, when he's all walking down. He's like, good morning, Sergeant Major. He's like, get out of my face.
Yeah, I love that. Wait, what was the other one? Nice. Well, now you're a weatherman.
Now you're a weatherman. Well, on behalf of all of us here, Sergeant Major, I really want to say thanks for being on the show. You're welcome back anytime. We'll talk about your next book or TV series that gets picked up, because Hollywood's out there. And I just want to say thanks again. Enjoy your day in DC. And this is Rad saying peace from all of us here at SOFREP.
Thanks, Rad. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
You've been listening to SOFREP Radio.